Hi everyone, and welcome to one of the really important episodes for our preparations for the upcoming documentary that me and a few crew are going to film. This time next week we'll actually be on site. By this time we should have wrapped up our first few hours of filming on site, and which will certainly be exciting. During the week we had a couple of major things happen and the project moved forward in leaps and bounds. The funding money finally materialised in my bank account, which was really nice, and as I said, I wasn't straight off down to the casino and try my luck. What I did was exactly what I said I was going to do, and I purchased some extra communication gear and some safety equipment. But right off the bat, the very first thing I did, and I said this all along, that as soon as I got my money, the very first thing I was going to spend my money on was a public liability insurance that was integral to us being able to apply for these different film permits and getting authorisation to film in the various locations, which is important because we're going to be filming in public areas. And it was a criteria, a box we had to tick before we could put in the applications to the various agencies. I managed to go to Officeworks and print out copious amounts of paperwork, collate it all together with some nice little mud maps and some drawings and some risk assessments, and get the appropriate applications in just in time with most of them. We've run out of time with Melbourne City Council, unfortunately. Their computer system was erroring on Friday. Wouldn't let me put in my application. It said I had to have 5 working days before filming. We're planning on filming in the middle of Melbourne next Sunday. So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which in my book's 5 days, yet the system wouldn't let me put in my submission. I'm going to ring them tomorrow, but I'm not hopeful. I think we'll just have to fall into line and just only use one camera, and hopefully it will be all right, and we'll just do some retakes and nobody will notice at the end of the day. Other locations are certainly looking more positive, and we're excited about a couple of them, definitely. So what did I go and spend the money on? Well, as you can see, I've now got 2 of these black boxes, which means I've doubled up on the GME TX6150 twin packs. So we've got 4 of them, and we've talked a lot about them in the past and thrown them into the spa and things like that, which was pretty exciting. I've also got a couple of these little units which they only put out 1 watt, so these ones put out 5, and these ones aren't waterproof, but they're also good for point-to-point communication, and they'll give us some extra options. They didn't cost much. I actually got these. They didn't come out of the budget. I bought these weeks ago. I bought some vests because some of the guys expressed some safety issues and said we needed to have vests, and it turns out because of one of the locations we're going to be right near the road and what have you, we need to have all that. Bought a first aid kit because technically I'm running a work site and we do need to have a first aid kit. It then turned out that we were deficient in qualified first aiders, so I've had to put 2 of the guys through doing their workplace first aid course, and they're hopefully doing that next week. They'll certainly have their certificates before we start filming. But it wasn't just about spending other people's money, which was exciting, I'll admit. It was about getting the real nuts and bolts of the project locked into place. A couple of really good meetings and having to explain exactly what I'm about and what we're trying to achieve with this project. And one of the people that was locked in, which is really, really awesome, is I'm going to be having doing an interview with the CEO of Vincent Care Victoria and talk about the important job that they do as an organisation. And there's a couple of other locations that we're still locking into place for meetings next week, and it's all looking very positive. You may be asking about the little wind device that's sitting here, and I mentioned in a previous episode that we've got concerns about where we're going to set up our unit base at one location specifically, and we need to monitor the wind. So I was able to buy this little unit for $70. I could have hired arguably a better unit for $90, but I sort of thought, well, now we got it. This isn't going to be the last production I do. And one of the other things that, it's crazy, but we've already started to talk about what we might do as the next project. So, I mean, this is the type of thing I want to get into. This is why I'm doing a Bachelor of Screen Media. I want to make videos and video content. So this is part of the start of it. Again, I'd like to thank the investors who poured their hard-earned cash into the project, and you know, I'm trying to show that I was responsible with it. I've got the budget sitting on the wall, and it's all looking pretty good. So next week, like I said, I've got a couple of meetings, and next Friday we go and pick the vehicle up. We then go and pick up the camera gear that we're loaning. We then go and pick up the gazebo, the unit base thing. We've got to pick up some witches hats because we need them as well. And we pick up the weights that I'm hiring to hopefully hold the thing down on the ground. And then, again, all things going well, next Saturday we'll start filming, and certainly Sunday we'll definitely be filming. So, looking pretty good. We've got a very early morning on the Monday morning, but that's the movie industry, I suppose, up at the crack of dawn or earlier. And I'm not sure how the crew are going to react to that. We're trying to accommodate them as best we can by one of the crew's going to be my second driver, and he's going to go pick them all up. I think I get the best deal out of that morning because where we're filming is very close to where I live. So yeah, I just get to walk up the hill with the gazebo and start setting that up, and then they'll all turn up hopefully. But it should be a very exciting week. We hope to do next week's episode from somewhere on location, and people might look at this and think, you know, this guy's not really doing anything special. It's not. You know, there's plenty of people that run far bigger productions and, you know, multi-million-dollar programs. I'm not trying to rate myself against anyone. What I can tell you though, for a guy that was homeless for 5.5 years, I never thought I'd be working on these sorts of projects. I never thought I'd be studying at university, and I certainly never thought that I'd be working on a production that other people had financed, which is, I mean, it's really awesome. Anyway, that's about it. I did want to do this show outside, but the weather's conspired against me and it's raining. So I decided I'd be here where it's nice and warm in my office. And yeah, I hope that there are people that are watching, and I really appreciate it. See you next week. Cheers.